welcome back to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, Stephen Johnson, and this is our second segment of this week. And what we're going to do is, in our second segment, Steve, we always talk about the next week's fights. And next week we have some fights, but not any marquee type fights. We got some Fox Sports fights,
ESPN2.
ESPN2. No
Showtime.
No big names. So I mean, if you're a boxing fan, you want to tune into the ESPN and Fox Sport and kind of see. I don't know if they're upcoming, but they're just not well-known names, and maybe good boxing, maybe not good boxing. It's just going to be up to you. But let's talk about the next marquee fight that's coming up, and it's been getting a lot of play on social media. And
before you get to that fight, I know where you're going. Well, let's first talk about on June the 9th. We're moving up a little bit to towards the middle of June, because that's when action is hot and
they're the next significant fights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first one we got, and I know you're not going to like this one too much, but on ESPN2, we're going to have that fight between Diego De La Hoya and Jose Salgado. That's going to be a good fight. Diego De La Hoya is slowly gathering.
He's upcoming. He's
gathering a following, so that'll be one. I just want to mention that because I know where you're going. The fight that everyone has been wanting to see was postponed earlier because Terence Crawford injured his hand?
His hand. I think his hand.
Okay, but anyway, Terence Crawford and Jeff Horn. And that's going to be the fight that everyone is waiting to hear about. I don't know, we got Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Mares, what's going to be on Showtime. I don't know, you don't care too much about Abner.
Well, it's not that I don't care about him, but what I'm saying is they're on the
the downside.
They're driving that classic car. Okay, they're driving that classic car.
I like classic cars.
Well, a lot of people do. Your boxing fans do, but to me, it's just a fight that if I'm here, I'm going to watch it and kind of enjoy it. But I think both of them are way past their prime. I think they've hit their peak a long time ago. Santa Cruz probably is more into where he needs to be able to retire. Abner Mares, to be honest with you, I thought he retired. So I was kind of surprised to see his name again, and I think it's a rematch or something.
They fought before.
So they're using that rematch as the catch of getting people to watch the fight. But honestly, no one don't want to watch that fight.
I do. I want to see that fight.
Yeah.
I think that Abner is the guy that causes problems for those two, just because styles make fights, and their styles makes it really a good competitive fight.
Well, let me just tell you, if they weren't fighting each other, they'd have no chance. Okay. But because they're both classic boxers and they're both past and beyond their time, it should make a good fight. Okay?
Leo Santa Cruz is beyond his time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. They both are. They both
Editor at Inside Boxing.
No, they both are. Just the way it is.
Well, let's talk about Terence Crawford going after that WBO welterweight title that right now is in the hands of Jeff Horn.
Yes.
Jeff Horn has been very vocal. I mean, more than vocal. He's been calling out Terence Crawford as far as even telling him, taking that old page from Milk Dud, when he talked to Roy Jones.
That's right.
You got any excuses tonight? I mean, he's talking. He's talking the talk.
And then
you think he can walk the walk?
Well, I'll tell you what. What you call him, Milk Dud?
That was Antonio Tarver. Everybody called him Milk Dud. You know that.
Okay, well, Tarver, but he backed it up.
Yeah, he did.
He backed it up. He backed it up, and
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, put him in that position.
Now the key is, I think the postponement of this fight has really given a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence to Jeff Horn.
No doubt.
I think it has.
No doubt about it.
I think he's going to come into this fight strong. I think he's going to come into this fight confident, because obviously they've done everything to accuse Terence Crawford of chickening out of that first fight. And the Crawford camp hasn't done anything to say except get thuggish. Well, I'm going to F you up. I'm going to do this. No. They showed the scratch on his hand, and Jeff Horn and then flew with it. Okay? You got a little scratch on your hand. Okay? Didn't even break skin. And all of a sudden you got to cancel a marquee fight, okay? So, but they didn't do anything like, okay, well, here's the X-rays, here's my doctor so that there was maybe a strike. None of that, okay? So
Stop the nonsense. Terence Crawford's gonna fuck this boy up. He's gonna fuck you up, man. Let me just back you up by your own words.
Okay.
Your own words.
Yeah.
What did we see last night? Now I understand the weight difference, but what did we see last night with Gary Russell Jr. against a young, strong JoJo Diaz?
Yes.
Okay. The hand speed. The hand speed did not allow him to do. JoJo didn't allow him to do what he wanted to do. And we want to go a step further. We said, when I agree with you, that the inexperience of JoJo Diaz. Jeff Horn hasn't seen anybody like
he hasn't.
He beat up on a Manny Pacquiao who really wasn't prepared for this big guy. That if nothing else, Terence Crawford and Bomac, Brian McIntyre, they've had a good chance to watch this dude and see what he does. I think he's just going to give him a boxing lesson. I don't see him really getting close to him to do none of that stuff.
My point is, they gave Horn a lot of momentum. They gave him a lot of confidence.
To run his mouth.
And confidence-wise. So, I'd be very surprised if you see Jeff Horn shell into a defensive posture because of inexperience. I think this boy's going to go at it, and he may get knocked out pretty quick. But
who, Horn?
Horn. But
I think he's too big to get knocked out.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. But he's going to go at it. Now, the key is, don't say he's not going to connect, okay? Because Terence Crawford has a habit of mixing it up too, okay? Switching southpaw, conventional, and trying to mix it up. What's he going to do when he gets hit by this big boy? Jeff is a big boy. I don't care what you say. He's a big boy.
There's nobody going to dispute that.
And because of that, I think that the postponement of this fight that rescheduled it back to a further date has actually made this fight, in my opinion, it's going to become a better fight. It's going to become a better fight because in that first fight, you better believe that Jeff Horn had some reservations in his mind, saying, "I'm going for the money. I'm making big money," and that was the priority. Now with the postponement, he's coming in there saying, "This guy's scared of me."
Well, let me ask you a question, man.
This guy's
Since
afraid
we're
of me.
talking about that, let me ask you this: what is the deal with Bob Arum? You remember Bob Arum first? He said that he was taking Terence over there to watch the Pacquiao fight, and then that he was going to have the Terence Crawford and Horn fight was going to be in Australia.
Yeah.
Remember he said that?
Yeah.
Now we know the fight's not in Australia, but then just last week, Bob Arum said that he sees Jeff Horn as being the future of boxing. I don't understand this dude, man. I understand selling the fight, but at some point you have to be consistent.
Well,
I mean,
see, Bob Arum is all about the bottom line, okay, and
covering his interests. They're both his fighters.
You can say what you want to say, but bottom line is he's done what he's done. He's tried to lead Terence Crawford up, and the bottom line doesn't come in. The revenue stream does not come in for Terence Crawford, okay, and he knows that, and that's the one thing that Bob Arum, that's his priority. I got to get these fighters, like all his Mexican fighters, and even De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather. When he brought them up into the championship marquee fights, they were bringing in a huge revenue stream.
True. Terence
Crawford's not bringing in that revenue stream. And I don't know if Bob Arum is getting frustrated and he's kind of turning his tune to saying, okay, well, maybe if I promote a Jeff Horn, I can get that revenue stream from the other side of the pond. From them viewers, because they will come in and watch their fighter fight. So if by any chance Horn wins this fight, okay, now he's got another big revenue stream in Jeff Horn, because the fans over there on that side of the world are going to tune in, they're going to watch the fight, and he's just getting frustrated that people are not following Terence Crawford by digging into their pockets and paying for the fight.
Well, you're probably right in the fact that, and it makes sense too. That they're both top ranked fighters, and why wouldn't he cover his bases in case, like you said, Jeff Horn would happen to pull up off the upset. The only way that Jeff Horn could win this fight is he's got to stop Terence Crawford. He's not going to outbox him. He's not going to outbox him, so he's going to have to stop him.
But you know what it does, and bear with me. What I'm saying is, what it does is, by Bob Arum being vocal and showing that type of support for Jeff Horn, it's like subliminal advertising. When you're doing the subliminal, see where you're throwing a thing and it gets into the people's mind. This is exactly what he's doing. He's he's being vocal. He's starting to side a little bit with Jeff Horn. So what does that do? The referees, the judges, and everyone else, he pays them. Okay, so now they're saying, subliminal. Okay, he likes Jeff Horn. So now if you get a close fight, don't you think for a minute them judges and things are going to side with Bob Arum and say, this is what Bobby wants? The fight goes to Jeff Horn.
No.
I'm telling you.
No. Guess what? It's not even going to come to that.
Well, yeah.
Jeff Horn is
I don't know. I wouldn't go as far
Jeff
as saying
Horn
that.
is going to get his nose boxed off by Terence Crawford. And if some kind of way that he would land a big punch and stop Crawford, that would be a shock to most everybody in the world.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I heard they're going to be fighting in the 12-foot ring.
Well, if that's the case, we got problems. Okay. But anyway, June is heating up. We got some good fights coming up in June. You know, it's going to be a great month. I have to agree with my buddy. I'll tell you one thing. Al Bernstein, he's been, very vocal on Twitter saying that, 2018 is going to be a great year for boxing. And I think he's right. So far, it doesn't matter who puts on the show. And like we said, this next weekend, we have some fights that are not household names, but they're going to be entertaining fights. And that's all we've really asked for as boxing fans.
Yeah, I like Al Bernstein. I want to give you a shout out, and I also want to tell you, Kane says hi. Okay.
Well, Abel says hi too. Whatever that means, I don't know.
That's when Al Bernstein was here. We did a show from my club, my restaurant.
That was in 1946.
It doesn't matter. You can't forget Kane.
1946. Al. It was good seeing you in 46. I remember that. All right. Anyway, we end up this week's segment of Inside Boxing's Throwdown, and we'll see you next week. And stay tuned for this third segment.
Stay tuned for the third segment.
Mike Rogers, the vice president of the National Silver Gloves. He's got some information.
It's revealing.
All right, radio, as we always end every segment of Inside Boxing's Throwdown, keep them hands up, baby, and keep it classy.